guys, welcome to our training sections today. So just like what we planned used to, today we are going to briefly introduce how to use our HSGnest system. All right. So probably it would take you guys like more than 1 hour, from 1 hour to probably 90 minutes to finish the section. So it would be a little bit lengthy. So please just take some notes, just take whatever you want to do during the meeting, just in case you forget some of the details. Okay, so let's start up our training sections. Okay, all right. So first of all, we're gonna show you how to use our HSGnest software. All right, and obviously you can see the sampling right here. Yep, it is opening. All right, so actually you can see right here, this is the layout of the software, and there are a lot of buttons that obviously they're referring to different functions. Yep. All right. All right. Yep. 没事，可以。Okay, so we're trying to open a new document right here. It will tell you whether you want to save or not. So I'm going to draw a new cover, a new round shape right there. And you could upload your profiles from your computer, from laptops. It's okay. For example, the desk will save at the time it's saved in the fixed format. 这是没必要读，我觉得。Yes. So HSG is a software that has, and it's a format you can see the service is NCEX. So if we hit the node, then this desktop is a new file. And what we can do at this point is we can import it from here, and we can import it from the folders. For example, on our subdriver, we joined it with CAD or some other drawing software that can be imported from this place. You can open up the files in the folder on your USB driver. This place is what it is, a library of materials, and these things in the library are the templates for it. If we have a graph that actually looks like this, we can import it from here, and it's a little bit more convenient that we don't have to worry about it. So this is drawing by ourselves. So what happens when we draw it right here? It's a certain, and if we click on a certain, so our graph is already in the layout software. In this case, you're just generating a part, and it's going to default to this part list. Again, we can sort it out, and we'll talk about this thing later. And display is from the Excel table. And we can put some dimensions in the Excel table and show it in an Excel table. If you click from here, we can import this in bulk, and we will do that. And this is where you can turn on the support format, which is you can look at some of this, and here it is. The format of NCEX is a format where we can open up the graphics that we save. If I open this up, here is our save for us. And if we draw a shape and we click save here, it can also be saved where we want it to be. And if I save this one, I've done it before. Let's say I have some layer craft settings here. We gotta save on here, which is what pulls these parameters in. And if you say the next time you line up a whole board with this app, After you export it on this side, and the next time you say you need to pressure it again, you can open it directly from the document. And the open format is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna be able to save all of our layer settings. You open it up and you can just apply the cut. And on this side, it means that I'll undo and I'll redo. We draw a picture here and we draw a circular rectangle shape right here, for example. On your side, click back. You can see that the last one that you drew before is gone, and this is a step-by-step redraw. So if you click on this one right here, and you click on this one right here, it's gonna jump you straight to, your previous circle is gone, because it can be the equivalent of crossing 3 points. You can only go 1 point at a time, so you can choose where you want to go back. So if you pick it at this point, this circle is retained, and this is equivalent to you only retracting 2 steps. And if you have drawn a lot of shapes on this part and you wanted to retract it, it is a convenient feature that no other software has because it is unique to HSGnest. Other apps don't have this jump back, and they over here, this is the layer color and this is the default color that we have on the right. Yellow and blue is consistent, and if you want to switch colors, you can save it. This place is also variable color, but we're always going to be yellow by default. We're always going to be yellow by default. Okay, I'm going to repeat it one more time. This is the default, and this color is convenient, and this is our shortcut right here. The application of shortcut keys, if we are more familiar with the software, we can have the energy to learn this. So can our software operation be more easier? Here is the automatic process that we apply to the process setting. This side here is our slot compensation, and our slot compensation over here, we can give it a size that we need to compensate based on the actual graph. And here we have our micro-connect settings. And the detail of what's going on here later, this is our lead line setup. What we want to do is we can check it and we can apply here, and we can apply it, it will automatically apply your choices. Over here is our input setting. So what we're going to do here in input setting is applying one-click pre-processing. So we have this over right here, handling setting over here, and when we input our graphics over here, we set it up in advance and then you check. So when you import a graphic, it will automatically change your graphic based on your settings. This is the material of the plate, and this is the application. This is the process in the applications. And if we check it, we can choose our thickness according to our material. And I will give you the corresponding technology after we click the check box. And then I'm going to say, okay, and it's going to work. And here's the other settings, and here's cleaning our simulation track. So I simulate it over here, and I can see this is the trajectory right here. It is moving. And when we check this, it will have the effect that when it's finished, it will automatically clear extracts because we're not on the device right now. We are not demonstrating. I'll show you what it looks like, and this is our clean track. And in our actual processing, after we finish cutting the graph, it will clear the track without manual splitting automatically. If you click on this, and it will clear the track for you. And then what about this one? This one is for type setting. If you check it, it will tell you the difference based on our different materials. And here is the display mode of the part list. So this is the layout list, and this is a 0-point list, and this is the wireframe. So here's a field display, and I can show you this wireframe display. So I take this part and I draw another square, right click, and I add it to the part library. If we were to do a little wireframing on our side, so if you apply this, you can see that the wireframes clearly, and if you go to this field demo at this point, and it's going to give you the shape and fill it for you, and it's going to apply according to your needs. Here is our capture settings. Actually, in CAD capture function, it's the same. You capture over here the tangent of the circle to the line. The four corners of the square rectangle can be captured on this side. It's the same setup that we have on the CAD side, and I'm going to talk about this part of it. So if you look at this part here, and you look at this part, and you will look at all, you click on all of this, and you will see all the files in the picture have been selected, and this is all of them. So if you click on that, everything that you select is gone. This is a way to unselect you. So if you select this file, you select this part and you click on reverse selection, and you find that you only want to select it and you don't select it. You didn't select it before. I'm going to do exactly what I say in this case. I'm going to do a little shapes. I'm going to go ahead and select a small shape, and it has a sign. This is a place that when I first open, that actually a small shape by default. So if I either doesn't, let's say I draw a graphic and it draws graphic. So if I need, I will talk about it later. We draw one. The dimension radius is 5. So if you want to be direct to clip it, you'll find it's a bad choice because we have one right here. And in this case, we have to be bigger than this. As long as we're bigger than this, because the radius is 5. I'm going to give you a selection of outer shape. I'm going to set itself and select this gray area and select under close graphics. I'm going to choose the open shape, and you can see this shape over here. And this is all close. I'm going to draw something. You can click on this place first. Our side is not a circle or a rectangle. It's not a closed one. You can check it. It will give you a hint. And I'm selecting the similar shapes. It means that we have similar shape on the drawing, and you check them and you click on them, and all of them are similar. You have all circles or all squares. You have 10 circles and 10 squares. You choose one of the circles, and there are 10 circles. The other 4 rectangles, it will be not selected. And there is an angle you have. It has an angle of rotation, and after you select what is angle of the first shape, you click on this. You select similar shape. you select different angles and it will give you all the shape. So this is layer selection. And I'm going to go ahead and select it because if you look at all of this, so if you say, let's put a layer on this side, and this is blue layer. Because by default, this is 1, this is layer 2. So if I choose one of these, I'm going to select the yellow layer by default.
Hello everyone. Okay, let's come back. Okay, for this videos we are going on, and I will draw a dot. Okay, let's going on. I will draw a dot, and you can see that it's actually already is a line up when it's a click in on it. It's going to set one and which follow the points, and this following the line, and which is following the line that I drew before. There is a circle here, and all for our circle is going on. There is a rectangle. There is a multi-purpose and this is a multi-section. This is a rectangle over here. Rectangle we can choose up here and upward lines because we have a relativities angles here. This is a test, and the test here you can see that is a test here. And this point you will find that the place and also line up. It will give you the drawing and test release to the session. Of the following is that we copy and paste and tag. I'm not going to do that to copy and paste it. And then I'm going to chat a little bit more about the display size and display size. So this is the orders and of display. And this one here you can click on. You see the order numbers and order number twos, and the attributes relate to the order we have here. We are talking about this one nature and what happens. You will check the box and you will see that the guys are cut here on order first, and then it is true. This is a starting point, and after you hit center. Let me do another one. Let me do the separate one and then solve. Just to show you that we doesn't have it on his side, you click on and start the point. You will notice that there is a little white dot here and there is a red star. And this is where the destination is, and you can see it. And there is a uncounted north wire decoration here with a 4 ones, and it's gone. And this is dimensions that how big and the shapes, and is equipped. This is showing the amethyst first and past. The split path leads to say two sharps and the straight and the sweep path. This is going to be the starting point on his graph to the starting points of other. So this is a miracle line and this is a miracle link. So this is a miracle link and is a draw the picture here and add a miracle to him. And we can see that we have got a miracle link here. Or if it doesn't, you can see that is a prey is unmarked. And then you will give you a kit and that is a where and asset art. On this side, and there is a two green line to show you the decoration of the counting arts. You can see it coming out here. Here is a special display opening. There is a highlight on his side. And you will see that the color change, you will see that a little bit more regularly. So this is our workbench to setting and its address was great and right here on my desk. The size of table can also change. We can input the size. You can see that the size is very large and we can change. This is a language we can just switching between the Chinese and English. And we switch and the software will restart and we won't switch. This is a dimensions which support the Chinese and English. This is a one key processes and this is a correct simplification. So this one is a key processes is, the graphics that input all here and that you draw for the CAD or another drawing software. And that is when you input a graph, it will actually change. And you need to change because it's a default of the software in a related use. Except in a special case, the accuracy or the accuracy matching process is already very high. There is no need for us to make adjustment to display. This is a simple coverage with the tolerance is a 3.31. And this is where the tab is removed. And it's measure here difference near and here's an elevation first. And this is a direction first and it's a left distance and its a tolerance is a 0.2. And here the point here is a delayed circle, and there is any circle. And this is size a small circle, and its dimension is less than a 0.001. And here's a small current movement to give him the size of 0.001. Here's a cell interchange and coupling net of the 0.1. And these are maximum the diameters of the borders, and here is for 2. Here's a radio errors and macro segments line here to circle, and the 0.01. And here's an automated setting of gains and count. And here is a special display opening graph. In fact, it saw the opening here. When you do that, you won't even have to do anything with these drawings when you put in, and it automatically give you the setting here. There is actually some overlap between the what is going on here and going on here, except it's going to automatic. It's automatic when you input and you don't have. So this automatic shop. If doing the auto shop is going to be automatically and give you an import it's going to give you in order to it's going to begin. This is measuring the same path. And it's the same thing here. The important part in glossary region test here is a powerful information identification. So here's the XF layers, and it's a color lappings, and here is a layer lapping. And it's a scraper or brush in part, and this is 10 million tools, and it's going to be based on actually. It's a couple build, and the distance can be changed a little bigger. The accurate cutting in fact can be adjusted here. Let's talk a little bit about the pattern declinations patterns. It's a sound interesting, and it's interesting, and this is overlapping, and when you keep the centers and keep your graph. Here is a magic here, the branch, and there is two are used together. And this is a hole, and key on it, and you can see the hole. When you hit the tops is a fine line, you can delete those lines with moon dams or whatever. It's only goes, and when you only goes here, you just have to pick one, and you will find it doesn't line up. And it's a side left and a right up. The center elements right here, and is a horizontal center. These are the visual centers elements, and these are two are horizontally. Basically, that is enough. This is an arc just like the teams and has CAD, and this is a slab. It's a menu session. So you say, if you click on the place, you will see here and here, and it's then already gaps and the menu session. I'm going to say it's automated can be kick up this number like 3. It's a 3-9. This is a delayed with praise and delayed with praise. The choke gap same here as a 1% here. I said the same thing here. I'm going to approximate the crease. I'm going to smooth the curve. I'm going to simulate the curve. And this is going to. This is a polygon line circle can be some approximations usually is as long as a drive the standard. And the standard that's the AD. What drives? And there is a one more thing. One kick here on this side and one kick on this side. Here's a little graph of yin and yang cutting. Hảo茶换一下，我读了10分钟，然后你再那边着急哦。完了吗？在搞。我先打完这个通知先，你先弄一下。救命！现在在什么？停止了。不要动。继续吧。Here place like this. It belongs to the positive curve, and this is the positive curve. This is the same here, and this is the side of the positive curve. Here is negative curve. This is the negative curve, and this is the automatic setting, and this is the machining direction. Here is the positive cut. Here is the positive cut clockwise and negative cut counterclockwise. The guideline is the same as this one if you look at this way. This is the angle of it can be changed. Here is set to 30 degrees, and when you click on it, it is 30 degrees, and that is left. The left that you can change that gets longer, and when you change it to 10. About time, one is none, and then there is. This is a place that if I had checked and don't use it, then it's just leading lines. Normally, we only need the leading wire, and we don't need the lead out wire when we normally use just. If you need to use that, you can contact our after-sales staff. The same thing goes out of the left side. This is the time of thing that it was before there was an extra arc here. Its arc is a little arc tangent to it. So this is the starting point and I add the little point. This is automatically selecting. So this is the intersection first and the long side first and the total. It's range for 0 to 100 and here is the 0 and inside the 0 is the notch. This is the overcut. The gap, which means that you have a shaft, and I will show you the back of the gap, and I will show you what I mean by that is. So if you pick this gap and you pick here, then when you point the knife the last cut of this figure, overcut means that if you cut a circle that originally had a circumference of 10 millimeter, it's going to go an extra 2 millimeter and it's going to cut you across, and here's the advanced option that only works on. It only works on the external mold shapes and only works on internal mold shapes. That is to say, it's internal model, internal. If I check the inner mold, so here is the sorting strategy for setting the processing order. This is left to right, to left, top to bottom to top, and this is grid. The central division is the local sorted path, and so I'm going to go over here, and this is the partition grid in advanced options. There's an automatic setting and there's a base value for it. This is the color of it, and I'm going to do it by color. I'm going to so this is sort within the group and this is around. You can find all of these functions here and here. So it's basically putting all of these functions over here into it, and when I get used to it. Here is sorted compensation according to the sorted compensation, and this is its sorted compensation. This is the intending width, and this is the expanding width. So what I'm doing here is adding the slit compensation to the opening. We can also compensate it for the slit if we find that is not the right here. And then I'm going to go back to the clear, and the lead light is the mean. On this side can be found on the time of the last wire on this side. The time of things that has a straight line in it is a hoop. This is the arc, and let's see. And this is the length of it, and we talk about therefore. And then we shorten this ball right here. You can choose this radius over here. If you choose this radius over here, you can change it. This is generally used in the processing of stainless steel. Is more common. You can see the change here. So this is the starting point, and I add the little circle. When you add a little circle on this side, you have a little bit of welding slab on the side of the perforation. But if you add a little, so that when you start the knife and there is interference between the laser head nozzle and the plate. This is the outgoing wire, and the outgoing wire is the lead wire is usually just the lead wire, and the lead wire is usually no use. Because you add leading wire and the leading wire, the processing efficiency will be. And here is the seal, which means the inside the seal that we talked about earlier. This is not true information. This graph is not variable. The gap on this side is 2, so this is still a big side. You can see this place here is a 2 millimeter uncut place where it starts off and then goes over here and it stops here. And here you can see a white line that's 2 millimeters. I just cut a little bit more. Sometimes the cutting place tail knife is not enough to cut a section here will improve. So the position here one is an angular preference and the one is long side preference, and this is the side. If it was a costing point first, it would fall in the corner. There's an angle here and it's going to point from these 4 angles, and that's because corners have priority over 4 angles, and this is get by the total length of the graph. This is not used
very much, and depending on the situation, it will depend on. It's going to find itself in the right price 50%, and it's going to add the lead line to that 20%. For example, if you are 1 meter long and you are 20%. So here's the mouse designation, and we can use the mouse with the lead and click on the left. You can add it anywhere you want, and this is the advanced option, and in the advanced option, you don't change the lead position. I just changed the time in this case. I'm not changing the time of the hidden line. Here is only works on internal mode check. Here it only works. Check the lead line means that if you don't check the lead line, it doesn't tell you. It doesn't even give you a hint. If you check it, it will tell you. And the time over here means that as opposed to close check. You check it and it will only make this list add change to those shades. It's not going to do anything else. This is micro connection, and there is a quantity here, and this is a quantity here if the quantity is 5. You can see 1, 2 is going to have this amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should have 5. It can also be, and the preparation itself can change it, say change to where you want it to be. Let me see over here. This is in terms of the number of bytes that I show you. This is 1 millimeter and it's like 2 millimeter here. It gives you a thinner connection every 2 millimeters, and you can see the every 2 millimeters you add a thinner. Here is a price to the scope. Over here, the size of the internal culture is large, medium, small, large. You can set it to what that is greater than. The size of it can be modified as required, and this size is automatically. So this is the opening, and this is the starting point, and this is the corner. Corner dot here and the head dot left means that the place on the corner is going to be away of this corner. How far away it is from the corner of the rectangle, and this is the angle of the corner, and this is the wall inside the seal. And this is also the gap. Let's say I pull two the same things as here, how you write a 3. For example, it's going to cut you a little bit more after it's done. The next one is, this is the slot compensation. Slot compensation is here. The heat here is the inverse. The heat cuts inward, the yang cuts outward, and this is not running, and this is all inwards, and this is all outward. And this is the yin cuts in and the yang cuts out, and you let's say this unit here, let's check it. But if this is a tongue over here, we could give it this whole intended thing, and you will see that this thing expands out. Let me draw a new picture. If you measure the distance on this side, is actually 0.2, and the white line is this side, and that's been intended. If we were to scale out with this, we could scale out with. You will notice that the yellow line is the original one. This is actual cut figure, and we can compensate for the size of the figure on your side, and you can see that the distance is bigger here. And if I make it a little bit more obvious to write a 3, the words in this are applied to say. Let's go with the yin card and the yang card. So if you select this one over here, you can't select this one over here. So if I select it, let's say that this one right here is if you span out, this white line is going to go out, and this is the configuration, and you say in the actual process. We process the plates as commonly used, such as processing 5 mm. So basically the compensation is fixed, and you can edit it on your end. And then you can apply it directly and add 3 compensation to the opening plate. Even this kind of figure, we can compensate for it. You can see here is our cooling point. The addition of cooling points means that it can at any corner. After automatic, you can see that these guys over here have yellow dots as well. I'm starting to run out here, and this is the cooling points. You can add it manually. Add it where you want to add it, because you automatically. The corner is the most likely place to overbond, so when you add it, the system overadds it at the corner by default. In this case, this is the starting point. And when you hit it, it's going to go where you want it to go, and it's going to go where you want it to go. This is going backwards, and you can see that this arrow is now. Now it's counterclockwise, and I can change the direction of it. This is chamfering. The chamfer is between 15 and 120. And here's the radio and the automatic you have to check. So if you check it and you click on it's 50 to 120, it will put it in all 4 places, or you can use this mouse to manually put it. In this case, I'm creating a chamfer. It can be tracked by default by if we have a negative curve and a positive curve. I'm going to change this to 1000, and then I'm going to change it to positive tangents. Because every graph is freeze, and then on this side, I give you the positive tangent angle, and you can set it on this side, and this is release angle. And when I check it, it's this shape, and then there's this ring cup. For example, if you are talking about a sharp corner, that's when you cut stainless steel or carbon steel, you cut shapes. So if you add this, it's a sharp angle, so it's not going to melt. So let's talk about the shredding function. It has this curve, so you have to make sure it's a negative cut. It makes you chop it up, and if you look at one over here and looks like a young cut, if not going to do, it's not going to give you a hint to make sure that before you do that, it is cut over board, so you can chop it up. And then this is the bridge. Let's change the Y and the bridge to the side of the graph. Let's say that I have this combination right here. Click on that, and that's a separate part, and that's a separate part. You put it together and you click on it, and it becomes a part. This means it's here and it becomes two common sides again and on this side. I'm going to talk about that later, but I can't use it right now and then erase. I have a circular array over here, a rectangular array, and you can do this manually. The array includes the circle array and the radius array, and this is the radial array. So this is array parameter, and this is units total 10. This is the total array, and this is a writing objection when you copy, and by default, I'm going to be able to do that. If you look at the center of the circle, this is our 3 and this is our radius array, the radius of the circle. This angle right here, and let's say is 180. Let me pick a few more. It's not going to be beyond this 180. What if you put in 360 and it gives you an array of 360 circles? This is the array of rectangles, and this is the number of rows of the array. This is the number of columns, and let's say 2 rows. 4 columns, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, 1, 2, 2 rows. This is offset the spacing. The row spacing is 10 and the column spacing is 10. So this is the direction of the array. I have top left, top right, bottom right. Let's say I change it. You can see that from this starting point, you start moving up to this one. So this is check, and the quantity on this side goes. You can make the array based on the mouse. So we have this sort over here, automatic sort. Auto sort, this is top to bottom sort, this is bottom to top, top to bottom, bottom to top. This is the central spread, this is the local sorted system, this is the grid sort. Top to bottom on this side, and I'm going to simulate it on this side, top to bottom. I'm going from the bottom to the top first. This one goes from left to right. From right to left. This is central position. It's spreading out from the center, and this is the local shortest distance. It's going to have fewer empty pace when it's going to go, but it is not necessarily the optimal subtracting. This place should be selected according to the actual. This is great permutation. The general advice is always check this little graph first, because if you don't check it, and you say okay when you cut, I'm going to simulate it, and it's going to cut the outer frame. Here's the default. Let me draw a box. Is process. This is a 1 and it cuts the square first. So if I don't check the small shape first here, it might cut this one first and then this circle. And then when you finish cutting this square part, the laser head will come. And then cut this second image, the laser head will fall. It's definitely going to be this. It's the same here as it is here. This is going left to right to left. From the top down, this is from the bottom up the grid sort. The center of the face sculpture and then the local. This is the same thing as here, and it shows in here by color. It's actually the color of our layer is the same as the color of our layer over here. So this is our little image. I can change the size myself. So I'm doing sort within the group and I'm doing reverse. So this is where you sort between inside and the outside. And this is where you cut the outer layer. I just gonna check it and and then I can sort this order over here based on their own needs. Normally I gonna say okay and then I'm gonna simulate it. I'm gonna cut the small ones and then it's a little bit more convenience to it because we don't have dodge and we can use them later if we have dodge. These two functions on this side and this side is actually the one in our own order, and the third and the fourth are the same as this side. So if you're going to the right, you can see the order and then you have this. This is the result of this, and the result of the layout recognition is the layout recognition on this side of the place. Margin 5 can be changed. Let's say that the distance that you import from the end of the plate. If you change it to 10, then the outermost half frame of the part you cut will be 10. This size is changed according to our actual situation. Here is a combination of things. You can change the thickness and material according to your own needs. This is mainly related to cost. So if we are drawing a picture and use this size, we can export this, and I will show it in the next video. So the next video is going to be shown. The parts list and this shape list are actually imported from the file here. Importing from the graphics section is consistent with him including this layout. This all is left from now. The layout and this one and the right one and this two. So let's watching the next video. Second choice, select all. Deselected the reverse select. Third, delete. You can delete selected parts. You can delete all parts. Export the last one. Export all parts.
Export the slab part and then into the lower right corner. You can edit some information about the part. Quality, thickness, recognition techniques, and other information. And then this is a scrap part list and ship list. And the place at the plate, you can do it here. Set the name, right, left, qualities for your ship, and as well as the materials and thickness. Here you import your own already as a say plate. Let's choose. Select all the plates and deselect and reselect. Delete. Delete, you can delete the select, broad, and all boards. You can add membership information in the lower right corner. Break is not edit. Or Y can be added. Automatic listing. First, select the path that is a mid-lasting all paths and select the path. Last is a plate. All balls are select balls and standard balls. Take the standard shapes as examples. You can choose the shape size. Customize the dimensions, select parts, materials, select the thickness. Let's hit the common angle. which can be divided into the widest common angle. Starting points are top left, bottom right. And show for position here is rectangle and top to the bottom to the top, left to the right. Here's storing a storage in the whole of the path for the bottom to top and for the left to right, and so on. Further down on another positive. Common angle and near the common lines at the common all side, and corner near angle. There is a mere common angle left and appears a number of the common angles, a number of the common, or only the common angle small graph. Sharp and data sharp. Hit and hit the starting position of the spawning top left and bottom left. Here's a starting the static angles, starting for the left and starting for right. And by regions, down is a weakest sharp and weakest sharp is only available in the both for footage. The following three types of restarting sorting cannot be used to the passive quotation. Restart the sorting have an automatic sum. Top of the setting, patterns may and then. Sort by color, positionate which colors, and a small sharp. Set the smart graphic size and groups intelligent sharp. And whether to with wheels and graphic is allowed to receive. And then down to the Y is the last thing positive. The first pair branching and the second part is images, and then is the angle for the rotation. You can customize this under rotations at any angles. That is where you can customize this and set the angles and its a starting position. This is a layer on the decoration horizontal and vertical. And then whenever it's going to more efficiency and whether it's going to be more efficient and is going to be allowed. Last thing and download is a supply angle. Minimums Y and a T's and arrow sharp can go distant. And that is everything. Print the last table result. To shop naturally click. To order the rows, click into the order of the sortings and the second guide. Second method is sorting. So first key in the menu sorting and then Y key in true. If I select this underline shaft, and there was a two way to stop the metering. Exit can be right key in exit, Y and key save to exit. Or keyboard exit.